Welcome back to part 9 Bravo of the Roleplay Server tutorial. In this section we're going to be adding in some minor things to the SQL database. It's just changing one variable in case it's not been done already. Adding in the pickup and label of the new house that's created, adding in rank retrieval and the ability to enter and exit, lock and unlock a house, purchasing also. So let's go here first. Now go into your players table, and under here you have admin level. You can either double click it and set it, or you can edit it, or you can run a query. That's your decision, but I'm going to do it this way, and I'm just going to set admin level to 5. Simply that makes us the owner. Now let's go back into here. We'll also go into here and into publics, and we'll go down to the bottom and we will place server return admin rank ID return string, and then it'll be new string, say 20. Now what we will do, we will switch rank ID case 1 string will equal to trial mod, case 2 string will equal to moderator, we'll trial moderator. That case 3 will equal to admin, case 4 string will equal to lead admin, and case 5 string will equal to owner. You should only really ever have one owner. That's just a tip for when you're running your server. Now we're not going to do anything with that, but we can compile it to say that it works. Public functions mean that's right. Never mind. What we will do, turn this into a stock until we use it, and then once we use it we'll remove it. Now what we need to do, we have done the first section apart from the label, so let's create the label. Let's go into the houses.pwn, and where we've got create house data, all we need to do, copy that, go down to your SQL save house to database, and then just paste it in there, and all should be well. Compile. That's the easy way of doing it. You can write it out separately if you want to. Let's just copy what you put above. Now we've done the first line, that's done. Now we need to be able to enter and exit. So if we go into general commands and come here, come to the bottom and create a new command called command enter, and then parameters, return true. We'll put if logged in player ID, return true. Make sure you've got the exclamation mark to detect whether they're not logged in. Then we'll add a new boolean value, int found is equal to false. Now we're going to do a for loop to decide whether to which interior is closest, basically. So we'll do for new I is equal to 0, I is below max houses, and I is ++. If house data house ID doesn't equal 0, then we will continue, because if it equals 0 it hasn't been loaded from the database. If get no, it's player in range of point, player ID 5.0, and then it's going to be house data I house exterior 0, and then same again, we'll just copy paste 1 2. That means we're in the range of it. Now what we need to do is set the player position, player ID house data I house interior 0, copy paste 1, paste 2, then set player facing angle, player ID, copy paste that again, but 3, and then set player interior, player ID house data I house interior ID. Now compile that, and we've got it. We will remove this Boolean value because it doesn't make a difference. Now we need to set the player's virtual world, player ID house data I we'll call it house ID, and compile this, and done. Now all we need to do is create an exit command. Exit player ID parameters, if logged in is equal to false, return true, and then we'll do the same again. For new I is equal to 0, I is below max houses, and I++, return true at the bottom. If house data I house ID doesn't equal to 0, if get player virtual world player ID is equal to house data I house and house ID. If is player in range of point, player ID 5.0 again, and then it's going to be house data I house interior this time 0, copy paste three times, so you've got it 3 times, sorry, and put 2 1 open brackets, and then set the player position, house data I house exterior 0, copy paste that 1 2, and then set player facing angle, player ID, copy paste it again 3. And then all we need to do is set player interior player ID 0 and set player virtual world player ID 0. What we need to do here as well is if is isn't, like exclamation mark is player in any vehicle player ID. If they're not in a vehicle, then if they're in a vehicle, then it won't run it. So we need to do the same here as well, because we will have commands for vehicle access, but this isn't one of them. So that's that. Compile, and that's your enter and exit commands complete. Let's do purchasing. So command by house player ID parameters, return true, but first of all we need to go inside publics, and we need to give cash player ID amount, return true, and then all we need to do is player data player ID p money plus plus equals amount, so you can use negative values there as well, and then reset player money player ID give player money, player ID, player data, player ID p money, and MySQL. Let me just look at what the function is. Save SQL int. I'll copy that, and all we need to do is put that. So SQL ID again, player data, player ID p SQL ID. Table will be players, row will be money, and the value will be player data, player ID p money. Let's double check that. Money, and we're in players, so yeah, that's correct. Now all we need to do is go back into houses, check if they're not logged in, compile just to be on the safe side. Yep. Now we'll put new house ID is equal to 0, then if house ID is equal to 0, return send client message player ID color white. You're not near to a house that you can purchase. And then what we'll do here is for new I is equal to 0, I below max houses, I plus plus. Same again, if house data I house ID doesn't equal to 0, we'll continue, and then if as player in range of point, player ID 5.0, house data I house xgeria 0, 1 and 2, and then do this, and then house ID is equal to I. All we need to do then is use house ID instead of doing a loop every time. So it could be then if house data house ID house owner SQL doesn't equal to 0, then we'll return an error because, well, that house is already owned. And then if player data player ID p money is below the value of house data house ID house price, then we'll return an error again, color white. You don't have enough money for this house to purchase this house. Then what we will do now is if they have got enough money, we will add a new string 128 format string size of string. Actually, there's one more thing I want to add, and that is count player houses player ID. Now return count, and then new count is equal to 0. For new I is equal to 0, I below max houses, I plus plus. Get rid of the extra space there. If house data I house ID doesn't equal to 0, continue. If house data I house owner SQL is equal to player data player ID p SQL ID, then we will add count plus plus, and then that will return how many houses that player owns. And then we can go back into houses and add in at the very top below the login value, if count player houses player ID doesn't equal to 0, then we'll return an error, color white. You already own a house, I'm only going to allow them to own one house. Just to change the value, you can just change this number. So if you wanted them to have 2 houses, change that to 2. But I'm going to keep it as this for now. And then what we're going to do is, you have purchased house name for money value, enjoy, and then it's going to be house data, house ID, house name, house data, house ID, house price, and we're done. Then all we need to do is send client message, player ID, color yellow, string. We'll call it yellow to make it stand out a wee bit more. If we compile that, it works. Now we go back into houses, and then we need to give cash, player ID minus house data, house ID, house price, and then house data, house ID, house owner SQL is equal to player data, player ID, PSQL ID, and then save SQL. Because we've not used it much, I forget. Save SQL in, and then it's going to be the house data, house ID, houses, owner SQL, and it's going to be house data, house ID, house owner SQL. If we go into houses, no, I went into players, houses, owner SQL will then update automatically instead of having a timer to have to save all of the houses at once. Saves a wee bit of time. But now we have created a house to purchase, but we need to go back into here and just check. We will add the lock status on the next one because it's going to take longer than I expected. Pushing 17 minutes. Don't need to do it there, do it there. Now, if we go to here, and just load it up. Enter my password. Now I'll just make a house here for instance. So make house exterior. I'll set the interior over here. Interior name is equal to test house. Price is equal to 0, won't work, so price is equal to 1, and then complete. Create your test house there as it appears. With that, now if I buy a house, I don't have enough money to purchase this house, so that makes me sad. I can't show you purchasing, but that's all you need to do, and then you come here and buy a house, and it will update it all as we did in the script. So now let's exit, And I think that is going to cut it for this tutorial. So yeah, next time all we need to do, I'll do it in a quick part 9c, add in locking and unlocking for houses, and then we can go on to a different system. If you have any ideas for the next system that you want me to put in, because we don't necessarily need all of this as this stands at the moment, we need to get the major systems in. So if you want to see something before anything else, please comment or join our Discord. And yeah, if you need any help, there's people always able to help you in the Discord, so don't hesitate to join us. The link is in the description. If you liked this video, please subscribe, like, and there will be more coming later on. Take it easy. Goodbye.